don't worry, be happy, and looking forward to Come On, Get Happy by Wellable. And so let's jump in. Happiness is super important in our everyday. We're constantly bombarded with negativity. As human beings, we unfortunately round down in our energy, round down in our conversation, our talk, our thought processes. Negativity far outweighs the positive in most situations. We're quick to talk about the negative things first. In a lot of my coaching calls, I have clients all over the U.S. dealing with all sorts of life situations, super busy, stay at home. The last person I worked with doesn't have a job, and she's really actively taking care of herself right now. She got alarming news about high cholesterol levels and even potential blockage in her arteries and veins and such. And that's alarming because she's only 46 and she's a lot of life to live. So she's like, I'm taking the time out, taking care of my health so I can have a really healthy, second half of my life. So, but on my second call with people, after we've really kind of established the get-goes of what's going on, then we get into celebrating successes. We know that you're trying hard to figure this out, that they're actively engaging in making better plans, habits, routines, lifestyles, and applying everything they're learning. So happiness and success are things that I often lead with, and constantly I'm listening to language and I'm thinking about what the people are saying. I'm receiving this information and then making sure I'm constantly coming back with some positive reflection. I'm not like one of those boot campy type, like, go, you got to do this, that, and hand slap you if you don't do well. Like, I don't do that. I'm a very much an optimist, an opportunist, and someone that's really going to push my clients to do their best, live their best, have great energy, and just be a pleasure to be around for themselves personally and first and foremost, but everyone else around them, their family, friends, or coworkers, or boss, whoever else they interact with, definitely want to be happy. So come on, get happy now, and let's get into this conversation. So we're going to go through today Happiness 101, benefits of happiness, habits of happy people, and happiness hacks. So remember, constantly put that smile on and turn that frown upside down. It takes more muscles to smile than it does to frown, and thereby, again, just another reason why, unfortunately, as humans round down. But there's so much of life that we can be opportunistic about and be excited about. I'm a big fan of this too. This just general concept of the past is behind us. We should learn from our mistakes and definitely learn from our successes, how to manifest more of that, and bring the happy memories with us and learn from those not so good decisions, choices that we made. Everyone doesn't make the best choices. Again, it's just human nature, and it's just what happens with us through time and situations that are in front of us. So that's the past. We bring those good, happy memories and lessons learned to our present, where we have to remain focused. It's just you and I right now talking about this, and we want to stay focused, attent, and be mindful of what's going on. And then we go into the future. And for me, I'm a big person, a fan of living in optimism, or even more so in anticipation. So like this morning, I was living in anticipation to doing field day. I have 3 boys at the middle school, so I was able to we did magical hula hoops, which is like magical musical chairs, musical hula hoops. So we played some music, pause it, and everyone has to jump into this hula hoop, and it was pretty fun. I got to kind of joke around with my kids and have a good time. I have 4 kids, so 3 boys, a girl, 13 to 8. I've been self-employed for a long time. My wife's self-employed. It's crazy busy. We're at the end of the year. May is just a ridiculous month, period. Now, so I live in anticipation for field day today. This weekend, we have 2 soccer games. Last weekend, we went to London. I was just there. It was so quick. I don't know how I'm already back in the saddle at home, but we did it. My wife's 40th birthday is coming up. We're going to celebrate that in Costa Rica. So big, huge things to be excited about and really live in anticipation. So that constant drive toward what's in the future can also bring this happiness. So let's define what happy is. The experience of joy, contentment, or positive well-being combined with a sense that one's life is good, meaningful, and worthwhile. The things you do, the activities you participate in, the people you surround yourself with are going to influence the level of happiness that you have in your life. So the more positive people you surround yourself with, the more do good, feel good type activities like volunteering your time, doing activities that are meaningful, even just like something as simple as like my kids' sports or activities. They're in music and dance and gymnastics and sports and all this stuff. So these are meaningful, good-hearted activities for them to participate in so that they feel good about, and I feel good about them just having experiences as they go. Or even just like it could be something as simple as like having family dinner can bring joy and contentment to you, or just having your cup of coffee and be able to relax on a weekend morning could really bring a lot of joy. So we can define happiness by a significant amount of different things, just like success can be defined very differently. A lot of people will define stress with or success with like monetary, money, financial, but there's so many people that are successful in life and it has nothing to do with how much money they make. They are happy regardless of how much money they make. They are content with their life. They have joy. They have peace. There's balance, and they're not one-sided. In our society today, we're very one-sided. Super busy, super like stress and anxiety are big things that are going to really challenge you and everyone else in the world to make sure that they don't get overwhelmed. There's such like anxiety is like a word now that a lot of people identify with, and it's unfortunate because if we can find some more happiness in their life, that anxiety would come down. So let's move on to the next one. So happiness it's not long lasting. It's not a permanent feature. It's not a personality trait. Happiness is something that you actively have to engage in all the time. It's not an endpoint. It's not a destination. It's not something to achieve. A lot of the things that I've been talking about with my clients about finding success in their body, their health, their energy, their well-being is life's a journey, not a destination. And these daily repetitive patterns of behavior around food, around activity, around the things that you do, like what do you do while you're at work, what do you do when you're at home? If you find yourself in front of a screen all the time, that's going to wear you down and not actually give life to you, but generally kind of take it away. So it's not the destination. It's not I want to be happy. It's that I want to find happiness and contentment and joy in the activities that I'm doing along the way in my life. So that's that like anticipation. Field day's already over. I had a great time. It was a lot of fun. Played some fun music for the kids and got to engage with my kids and showed up for them. And that brought me happiness. Feeling good all the time. We're humans. We have a range of emotion, and all day long we can go up and down between those depending on how well you slept, how much food, and the regularity of food throughout the day. Did you eat a lot of carbs or not, or sugar or not, or caffeine or not? Those are going to influence your energy levels and your abilities to feel good. So even like the personality trait, we can have extroverts, we can have introverts, we can have people that that can trend toward optimism or pessimism, but it's something, again, that can be worked on regularly. So let's chat. Love for you guys to engage here. So I openly invite you to engage. How are you able to tell if you're feeling happy? Yeah, give me something that makes you feel happy or defines when you are. Is there a trait? Is there a feeling? Is there energy? Is there certain activities that you like to do that create happiness? What differences do you notice between even levels of happiness? So go. Put something in that chat box or the question and answer. There's 8 of you on here. I'd like to see at least one person. We just need one person to kind of crack in there. So how are you able to tell you're happy? What is it? Do you have the energy? Do you smile? You just got some, you just feel good? Are you laughing? Just have like a warm sense of feeling in your body, in your stomach. The stomach is a second gut, and it can help you to get that gut feeling and stuff. It's a real thing in the body. There we go. We got 2 people jumping in. So you can send it to everyone. You can just send it to me. I'm not going to call your names out. So if you feel awkward participating or something, that's fine. You can just send it directly to me. I'm not going to call you out. So you feel a lightness in your body. Yes, we don't want to feel heavy. We want to feel light. We want to feel bouncy. We want to feel energetic, having more energy and smiling. If you can quickly tell within like 2 seconds if someone's happier or not so happy, just even by body language. And you can receive that because humans are constantly gathering information to assess what's around them in their sphere of awareness and what's going on. And so it's smiling up and back instead of rounded down, frowning, hard, tight, rigid. We don't want that. Feel relaxed, very comfortable. You can tell in someone's outlook exactly, like the words they use, the language, the amount of response. If you came up and asked me how I was doing today, you better be careful. I might give you an earful. Well, I was in London this weekend celebrating a 17th anniversary. I had a 8-year-old and a 10-year-old birthdays. We had a great time. I could go through everything that we did. I got back. I've been working with clients all day long for a couple of days now. I hired 2 new clients, Melody and Anita. We had field day today. Tonight, I've got some after school activities with my son's going to lacrosse. We have gymnastics, so I get to watch them participate. Yesterday, I went and did a 2-hour fishing event with my 3rd son, Maxwell. Remember, I have 4 kids, so Maxwell. And so that was the first time we fished. We caught 3 fish, so he was super excited. He didn't want to touch the worm. He didn't want to touch fish. Left the dirty work to Papa and to do this. So like right there, I can feel your ear about what's going on. The outlook can be very good. So optimism. I love it. Thank you so much for jumping in and sharing. We'll feel free to interrupt as we go. So types of happiness. Humans experience 3 types: finding pleasure and gratification, embodying strengths and virtues, discovering meaning and purpose. All right. So pleasure and gratification. So feeling the sensation of like, yes, this is pleasurable. This is enjoyable. I'm satisfied. Strengths and virtues, like you can feel empowered through leading or guiding or accomplishing like a run, a race, a hike, a physical or even a mental feat in a sense. And just always, the more meaning, purpose that you have in life, the so much easier it is to have happiness because you anchor yourself around pillars of strong virtues and personality traits. And you're able to find meaning in the activities that you do, which then drive this. So why do I have half glass full? Why is the sun shining even if it's a cloudy day? The sun's up there somewhere, right? It's because like my everyday, I'm helping people create better lifestyles, behaviors, and I'm able to help jump in and hear and understand their obstacles and work on active solutions for that particular person. So I get to help people all day long. And someone's like, oh, do you feel like tired or worn out and stuff? I'm like, no, I talk to people that want to talk to me all day. So it's really easy that we have this engagement. So if you catch me at 7:45 in the morning for a phone call, you're still going to get the same person, energy, and excitement coming at 9:30, 10 o'clock. Why? Because like I'm talking to Brunel in Tampa, Florida, at 7:45 yesterday. I'm talking at Roy in LA at 9:30, it's 6:30 his time. We're having a good time discovering his strengths and all that. So finding pleasure and gratification, appreciating, enjoying basic items, activities that bring joy in the moment. Painting, art, listening to music, being physically active, play with people in the 5 senses. Like I just got done working out. So not only do I have like hormonal responses going in body, like that runner's high type, I got the muscles feeling strong, I got blood pumping. So I have energy going throughout my body and that in and of itself brings joy. But it's also like I'm pushing, I'm straining, I'm moving and I'm working on my 5 senses. So again, today I've strength trained, I've moved a lot, I've I've listened to fun music while playing with kids in a really fun, high active energy. I've had some caffeine. So I've been working I got plenty of sleep last night. So like lots of good sensations. So gratification accrues from time well spent. So I feel pretty satisfied and had a pleasurable Thursday so far. So I can bring a lot of energy today. Hopefully you feel that. And it's not too much. I'm just like to talk a lot sometimes, and right now that's what it is. So look at this with these, call them word salads. So I'll give you a second to look at some of these. I'd love to see in the chat what's 1, 2 of these that pop out for you. So put it in the chat box. I'm going to take a sip of water. Another thing to help keep you happy is being hydrated. So this is my 40-ounce bottle of water. I get one before noon, one before dinner, one before bed. So it gives me about a gallon-ish or so. I do drink some coffee too, twice a day in the morning and at 2 o'clock. It really helps kind of keep energy flowing. So staying hydrated can just really keep your body, your energy, and your I always say water to the body is like oil to a car, right? It helps prevent friction and heat and a lot of extra effort. All right, we got some coming in. I appreciate you guys loading this up. Curiosity, always want to explore. That's one reason I'm listening to people talk when I'm talking to them, and they'll talk about, oh, I'm frustrated. I'm like, well, let's kind of flip that coin upside down and be like, well, actually, maybe you're more curious about what is in the food you're eating because you don't know, and that lack of information in this self-discovery process you're going through right now that I'm helping you on is a state of curiosity, and we're just confusing it because you don't know this information, and that doesn't mean that you're frustrated. It just means that you need to learn it. So persistence and gratitude. Life is an ever-ending state of persistency. You always have to be driving and pushing and moving and going forth. Now, a lot of those words that I said can feel like forceful or like using a lot of energy. That's not the intention there. If you want life, you need to play and you need to get out there and do it. So pushing yourself doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to take a lot of energy, like being active. Maybe in the beginning, an item at rest stays at rest, an item in motion stays in motion, and maybe pushing through that initial, like I'm going to start getting physically active again, you might have to push in a sense because it's different from the state of being you were in. But once you get moving, then it can just be a love. Like people, all ages of the game of activity fall in love with being active or with different exercise routines or movement or developing a yoga practice or a mindful practice. Or I had a guy that I recently worked with a couple weeks ago. He all of a sudden was like, I want to hike the Appalachian Trail. And all of a sudden, he's doing like 12 plus mile hikes, sleeping overnight and stuff, and doing this. So like we can fall into this love and whatnot. Perspective is huge. Being able to find perspective in where you're at in life right now is hugely important so that you can then, being a human, adjust to what is in the situations that you're dealing with so that you can find success, kindness, gratitude. If we're just kind to people around us, you're going to get a lot more love, humility, and a lot back for you. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. And the practice of gratitude has been an overwhelming consensus here in the last 1 to 2 decades. Just being in this field, having a gratitude journal and talking about 3 things that you really brought you up today, and all these things are sharing good, positive things. Like if you always greeted your coworkers with positive things, or your spouse or your kids or whatever, friends with positivity from the get-go, and being kind and talking about gratitude of things that you appreciate about them, you're going to get a lot more relationships and positivity from that. Meaning and purpose, or number 2, understanding motivation behind your actions. applying unique strengths and virtues for a purpose greater than yourself, generating happiness for you and others. When I was at this field day this morning, one of the teachers talked, we were going back and forth about Boston Marathon. I ran Boston. She had a hat that had the 2015 Boston. I'm like, hey, I ran Boston. So it was an instant connection that we started talking about. And we talked about somehow we went from there to the vacation. And she talked about she was going to go help Ukrainian refugees in Germany. I talked about being over in London for a minute. And so she's going over, she's got purpose, there's meaning, there's generating happiness for other people that's going to give her meaning and purpose, especially going into that. So she can live in a state of anticipation and feel happy and good about the actions that she's about to take and building up to what she's doing to prepare for that. So understanding your motivations of why you do what you do is super important so that you can continue to foster more positive relationships and activities to fulfill on that. Applying your unique strengths. Everyone is different. Some people are more extroverts. Some people are more introverts. Some people are kinesthetic. They like physical touch. Some are more auditory, they hear. Some are more visual, they see. And we all have strengths and weaknesses, and understanding those strengths to then apply to other people. Like, I generally feel like I'm a positive person. I am personable. I can relate to people pretty quick. I've got a lot of optimism. So me being a health coach and a field of interest that I really enjoy, that makes a lot of sense. I have tons of meaning and purpose. So when I wake up in the morning, boom, up out of bed I go. I'm not hitting the snooze button 10 times in a row trying to ignore what's ahead. So purpose, meaning are super important. Love to see in the chat anything particular like purpose or meaning that you can instantly think about. Like, what is something that you do in your life, whether it's at work, at family, at church, at a friend group or whatever? Is there like an active like purpose and meaning that you do? I'd love to see that if you could. All right, now I'm going to keep moving forward. I like to talk, and so just got to make sure we get through all this. Now, activity, the 5 whys. So I love this. This is really what I do really well, and I keep asking these questions. So one, you got to define your goal, and it's important to go a couple layers deeper of the onion. So we have the first one. It's like the topical, like, I want to look good, feel good. Okay, so why is that important to you? And then they'll be like, well, my pants don't fit. Okay, why is it important for you to fit in your pants? Well, there's a history of some health diseases in my family, and I don't want to contract that. Why is that important to you? Well, I've seen that even from me firsthand, how type 2 diabetes had impacted my grandmother's life. Okay, and so then you don't want to feel it. So we start to get to some strong roots of what the goal is, so that then we can anchor it in and have a lot more oomph behind it than just like, I want to get healthy. Okay, that's great. But that feels like if the wind blows, it's going to kind of take that thought, that feeling, that energy away from you. If the last answer is something you cannot control, go back to the previous response. So if it's out of your control, then you'd want to go back up the rung and start going back another vein to find. So the important thing is that you ask a question and you dive. Why is that? 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 So you actually get to the root of the being of why someone is actually interested in my case, taking action on their health. So you write this down, take a picture of it. But the point being is, I want to do this because this. The benefits of happiness. All right. Happiness and health, they go hand in hand. Physical, mental, emotional health all circles around on itself. Improves life expectancy, increases positive emotions, support healthy sleep, strengthens your relationship with people, fuels meaning and purpose, so you have better relationships, better interactions, better experiences in life. You're more positive, more energetic, and people want to be around you. So these are a really good thing to focus on being happy. And it can be a skill or an activity that you can improve upon. So if you kind of are more of a pessimist and you realize that about yourself because people have told you that, or you don't have a lot of positive interaction, or it's always cloudy outside, or the glass is always half empty, knowing those things, then you can start with a gratitude journal and every single day reinforce why it's important to be happy. And over time, not just tomorrow, but a couple weeks or months from now, you can really develop that skill set of looking things through a positive lens on your glasses of life, so that you see the good in people and things and actions, and then you can feel better and therefore just be positively impacted that way. Happiness strengthens immunity, aids digestion, generates feel-good hormones, and reduces stress. So if you're happy, you're significantly less likely to get ill, have upset stomach, have tension in your body, have headaches, body aches, inflammation in your body. Stress at work or at home can roll off your shoulders a bit more. Study demonstrated unhappy participants were 3 times likely to develop a cold than happy participants. So I don't get sick too much. I wonder if there might be a correlation. Who knows? All right. Protects the heart. Happiness helps reduce risk of heart disease by lowering blood pressure, right? So you're not like wound up tight, like someone went and did the toy soldier, twisting up the tension inside your body. And the less tension, the less cortisol, the less stress, the less inflammation flowing through your body will obviously protect your heart, your body, and your mortality. So you're going to reduce your mortality. One thing we do know is if someone, like I have a lady, unfortunately she got diagnosed with some cancer, and esophageal cancer. So she's literally going through chemo and radiation right now. And our conversations are built around laughter, happiness, making sure that she's actively seeking out comedy, happiness, laughter, family time. She's a newly grandmother. So she got like a 1-year-old, and actively spending time in this youthful energy and just this joy that Jackson is the grandson's name, that Jackson can bring to her. So it's super important for her to stay in that positive mindset despite the hard mountain of challenge that she has to deal with at this moment. Reduces pain. So happiness diverts attention away from the pain towards thoughts and energy that brings pain. So you might have I work out a lot, so I have a sore body often, but often I don't feel it. I always joke I'm just training for when I'm 80, and I'll always feel sore, achy, and stiff and tight and rigid and stuff because I've been actively strength training and whatnot, but I don't feel that so much. The association with pain is lessened. So if I have pain, I don't feel the pain like someone else might if they were not so happy. All right. Got a question. Let me see. I just saw it pop up. How could someone use happiness with chronic pain? Well, a state of meditation, relaxation, mindfulness, gratitude could come into play, where you listen to peaceful music, you go out into nature and you observe the green, the sounds, the noise, you journal about positive things in your life. And when you can if you can fill a page of positive things that are happening in your life, you can then find that gratification and gratitude period to enjoy and be happier. color therapy and stuff. So using even art, whether you do it or you go to the art gallery or something and you observe and you soak that in, those are ways that you can find happiness or light in a sense, joy or a lightness in your body. So those are some the gratitude journal, or even talking to someone about trying to relieve chronic stress, chronic pain can really help. So having a specific type of a counselor or a group, a support group that lifts you up and that gives you energy. So those are some ideas off the top of my head. I like the question. Did that answer it? Did I give some perspective on that? I hope you could answer that in the chat box. So lastly, on this slide, we've got a study of participants suffering from stroke found happier individuals had 15% lower pain ratings 3 months after leaving the hospital. You just if I had to say, I know Tim's a perfect person to talk about here. Tim is a client I've worked with, and we started working in January together. He signed up to get back surgery back in October, November. He told the doctor he was going to lose weight for the surgery. The doctor didn't believe him. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't lose the weight when they go into for back surgery. It's just unfortunate. There's reasons why someone may or may not have been put into that situation. But unfortunately, if people are less active, they're more likely to gain weight because of the inactivity and not necessarily changing food behaviors. I see this all the time. I was incredibly busy during COVID and quarantining. What happened? People stopped leaving their homes. The fridge was their closest relationship. Food was used for a lot of emotions and then calories, and cause weight gain, which then cause more pain. But so Tim started with me in the new year. Actually he's down 40 plus pounds since January. He's had his surgery. He's almost back to 7,000 steps a day because we talk every other week, and I text him frequently throughout the week. And so with Tim, he's so excited. There's so many opportunistic things that he's going to do with his new body, like going out. He's got a lot of property down in southern Ohio. I live near Cleveland, Ohio, a little south in Akron. But with Tim, he's got 20, 30 acres or something in southern Ohio that he goes hunts deer with his son. He really had a very strong, difficult time the last time he went down there, and he couldn't really participate at all for very long either. So he's really looking for activities. Even the relationship that brought Tim and I together with Julie is a client. They are connected more in a sense. So they're an active friendship now. And so Julie helps Tim with better nutrition and stuff, and I'm helping guide all of it. And she's a really good cook, to be honest. So I've had some of her food. This guy lives close to me, so but he's down 40 pounds. He's looking forward to life. So his experience with pain is significantly different because of what he's excited to go do with himself. Okay, so that would probably be a good thing. I did answer that question. Excellent. Thank you. I like long-winded answers, so that's what you get with me. All right. Lower stress. So being happy brings down stress hormones, cortisol. You're able to handle stress that's coming in. There's constant inputs in your body, there's constant inputs coming to you from the outside world, marketing. At 3:00 here, after we're done, I'm going to be going to get my 3 boys and my daughter. So by 4:00, all kids are home. It gets pretty crazy. There's a lot of mom, dad, and all these demands and stuff, and trying to get homework done and all this stuff. So there's a lot of stress and stuff that can come from that. But if, it's nice out and we talk about positive things that happen in the day and all this, we can manage that input a lot. And the input of society can be lessened if, again, you wear different lenses that you view the world in, more opportunistic or optimism rather than pessimism, abundance rather than scarcity. Happier people produce less cortisol overall due to their management in stressful situations. The bursts of happiness produce resilience to stress. So you can just manage more when you're happier and it doesn't impact you. One super strong thing just came to mind was when you get off work, this is a useful tool that I do. I ask a lot of my clients if I feel they've been wound up from work. I would like you to walk for at least 15 minutes before you get home. Whether it's you walk right after work or walk right before you go in the door, go to the gym, or do some level of activity to get blood flowing. Movement is energy. It will help you re-energize and reboot from whatever happened in the day to whatever you're doing in your actual personal life. So you don't bring the stress home with you. You listen to fun music, you get outside, you breathe, you move your body, and all of a sudden when you get home, your evening isn't spent glued in on a couch trying to check out through food, alcohol, sweets, screens, and you just don't actually live life at all. You just kind of get sucked into binge watching multiple episodes of something that's happening externally from you. And sure, we can find joy. And yes, you can have moments of screen time and relaxation and stuff to check out and enjoy culture and film and all that stuff. But the point being is that you're not actually living life. All right? You're not participating in your life or other people. You're just kind of glued into another screen, but you spend all day staring at the screen and you spend all day looking at a phone. And so you just really aren't participating in the world around us. So habits of happy people. What do? Prioritize movement. All right. Why? Release chemical endorphins, create the runner's high. So that's one reason why people like to work out. Social components of exercise can contribute to happiness. I always generally did. That's why I was a personal trainer and had success. Someone came to me looking for an outlet to move, and I created a fun, active situation in a relationship with them that they were excited to see me. I was a positive person in their life that talked about positive things and brought energy into their life and brought positive change. So the runner's high, or group exercise classes, you socially bond to people that are after the similar interest levels that are excited about what you do. So that's really good, a strong social component here. How? We want to do at least, these are basic American standard activity. So we have 150 minutes per week, moderate aerobic exercise. That's you going out and walk or doing just moderate cardio at the gym or doing some exercise classes or whatnot. Or 75 minutes of vigorous aerobic activity or equivalent, mix of both. So you could do a Peloton or a HIIT class or a boot camp or strength training. Or it could be going out on a more adventurous hike, going for a more aerobic run, go hit the bleachers at the local high school. Lots of different ways to ramp up your activity. 2 days a week of strength training. It's doing some form of what I would call muscle building activities. So it doesn't have to be weights. It could be a class. It could be yoga. It could be Pilates. It could be bands. It could be a YouTube workout. It could be go be physically active in your yard and go dig and pull and move and dirt and get dirty. And I had to cut down some trees because they fell due to wind. That took a lot of time. That took multiple hours, 10 plus hours of cutting wood, moving wood. So that too can count. Value relationships. Value relationships is so important in spending time with people that you connect with. Working on strengthening and maintaining these relationships and having positive communication. The more that communication you can foster between people, the better relationships, the better that this. One reason that I do daily tech support in my work with people is to establish connection, rapport, trust, authority, maintain relationships with people so that we have a positive communication between each other, and we're investing in each other's relationships. I'm investing in them to help them live better lifestyle, routines, habits, behaviors, education, understanding of how to apply all this stuff in there every day. And they're investing in me, and then I can go do cool things like London and do a lot of fun stuff. So it becomes a win-win situation. So I always say that to people, like, I only win if you do. So my best inclination is to make sure that you're successful. Happiness is contagious. So if I come in with a strong energy of happiness and optimism, it's significantly more likely that I'm going to win out in a pessimistic battle. Not unless this person is a very strong pessimist and catches me off guard. It's just not going to happen. One thing I do know is that whoever in a relationship has a stronger energy influences the other more. So it happens all the time. So that's why people do good things and people do not so good things. They get involved in good things, they get involved in not so good things, because someone has a stronger perception or impact or influence in that relationship, and they can win out over the other. So that's important to know. So bringing happiness can keep things contagiously good. So, all right, another water break. All right, acts of kindness. Great things to do with your coworkers that are on here, to do with your spouses, your partners, your kids. Treat someone to lunch, leave snacks for delivery workers. I remember my wife would leave a little Christmas treat when she does Etsy shop and hand letters on gloves, and she would have 40 ornament balls going out a day, and she'd have the post office worker come and get an active pickup at our house of all those ornaments. And so what we would do is she'd just say, write a little thank you note on the reception ship, and sometimes just put a little piece of candy or something, just saying, hey, I appreciate that you're doing this for me. Reach out to a coworker who's struggling, actively paying attention and being mindful of these situations and approaching it in a manner that is relevant for them to receive your act of kindness and not be like, wow, I just want to be left alone even more. Volunteering yourself or with a group. Stephanie is part of a larger corporation in our area. I've known her for many years. We still talk. And she's lost over 100 pounds and had a lot of positive things have gone on in her life as she's taking action to herself. So she's just a much happier person. But they did a Habitat for Humanity type day at work. And that just is fun. So I volunteered this morning and had a lot of fun with Field Day. Donate items in need to a local shelter, a little bit more so than just, so they say, giving to Goodwill, or donating your time to a soup kitchen or something like that. You'll have more meaning and purpose behind it. You'll feel better as a result. Smile at a stranger. So I try to walk around with a little bit more of a smile on my face rather than just checked out, not paying attention to anyone else in my sphere. Leaving a generous tip, that always gets people happy. Cleaning up litter. If you're out walking and there's a scrap of something on the ground, it's easy to pick up. I picked up some litter today. It's still in my pant pocket, so I do need to throw that away before it finds its way in the dishwasher. Or the washing machine, excuse me. All right, finding flow state. I love flow states. I actively seek these out because it just is this feel good. I feel like I'm in a somewhat of a flow state right now. I can read, I can interpret what these words are, and I can then relate them, hopefully, to a better positive experience through stories and just the energy I'm bringing to our conversation today. So flow state describes a feeling where under the right conditions, one becomes fully immersed in what they're doing. there's nothing else happening in my world right now except what we're doing. So I'm fully engaged and want to make sure you all get a great experience and take some value out of this, more than just be happy. Don't worry, be happy now. Results will give from giving the fullest attention to an activity or task to an individual that is passionate about them. It boosts your self-esteem, your confidence, and happiness. So even like this comes to mind staring at this image here on the screen. Plants or even water. If you look on YouTube, there's this thing about how people would talk to water, tell it positive things or negative things, and they would look at the water under a microscope and you would see different images. How true or not this is, it's still pretty compelling when you see what they show to you on there. So on the people speaking positive to water, the water under a microscope looked like snowflakes. It was beautiful. There's like these crystals, this intricate design, and it was just positively influenced. Whereas when it was not, it was harsh, it was broken, it was scratch, it was just didn't look good at all. So take it or leave it, but there's something on YouTube where like you search something like talking positive affirmations to water, something like that. You'll be able to probably find it pretty quick. Does positive conversation to water help or hurt it? Cultivate a positive mindset. Optimism, see opportunity and challenges. You're always up for a task to seek out what's next and how do I overcome this situation. Life is full of challenges every single day. You're always having to manage an obstacle one way or another and overcome it and find solutions. So like if someone has chronic pain, you want to find happiness. If you got diagnosed with a serious health situation, you're going to want to find out how to find what the opportunities are to overcome that challenge so you get in better health and you can live a better, positive life as a result of it. Not let that issue, disease, or whatever diagnosis overwhelm you and shut you down and you don't live a very fulfilling end of days in a sense. Helps with problem solving, cultivates belief that you can rebound from your setbacks. So we're all human. We will hit setbacks every so often. But being in a solution-minded state is going to help you figure it out. A state of figure it outness or being able to figure it out. Cultivated by practicing mindfulness and gratitude. Again, we kind of circle back to those. There's a huge wave in the last decade of mindfulness, gratitude practices that you can do. You can find these on YouTube. You can find them in apps like Calm or Headspace. You can find journals. You can find a lot on this stuff in the marketplace these days. Common traps. So we have the thought trap. Jumping to conclusions or overgeneralize or mind reading, emotionally reasoning, minimizing. So these are things that you can get caught in where you how many times do we overanalyze something or overgeneralize it and that whatever that thing you created doesn't even exist. So jumping to conclusion, they didn't smile, so they must be mad. Reminder, slow down and ask yourself what's the evidence of them. If they didn't smile, it doesn't mean that they're mad. They could be distracted. Overgeneralize. Why does this always happen to me? It doesn't always happen to you, but you keep selecting these situations that it does. So reminder, avoid harsh language of always and never. Those are definitely traps and words that this always or these things never happen will get you stuck there. Is there another explanation of why you might be experiencing these type of things in your life? Mind reading. My boss is disappointed in my work. Well, you can always ask questions and then ask, what can I ask to increase my understanding? So if your work is being perceived to not be as good or valuable, find a way. You ask a question and find better solutions to increase your value, your impact on that. Emotional reasoning, I feel useless, therefore I am useless. Separates feelings from facts so we can have this logical and emotional mindsets in our body. And we can, if we trend toward the emotional, that's something, if you do that, you need to be mindful that you can trend more emotionally and that you need to be able to counterbalance it back to a little bit more logical. And if you're so over logical and analytical, then maybe you need to bring some more emotion into it too. So it can be this balancing act back and forth. Are my feelings reflecting the reality of the situation? That's a really great question. Minimizing. I bet they do that for everyone. And it's not just for you. Like, say, holding the door. Someone holds the door. Oh, this person must do it for everyone. Not necessarily. The timing might just have been right that they held the door for the person in front of you, but not for you. Be even-handed. What positive events have occurred in that situation? So this is a great slide here. Create meaning. So 2 components are cognitive processing and purpose to actively create meaning. It comes in forms of raising children. I have 4 of them. There's 15 relationships in my family and household, and there's lots of trying to have cognitive processing and finding purpose for relationships and interactions, and how do we keep this family moving and connected and bonded and loved. Caring for loved ones. That definitely can be a purpose. One strong thing, the reason why I do what I do, especially my work, is because I care for my family. I want them to feel loved, supported. Practicing faith or other special traditions, like, say, Christmas is a really easy one, or even Memorial Day coming up. There's reasons why we have these traditions or holidays or events to practice and find purpose. So we're memorializing people who have served in the past on Memorial Day, and we want to validate what they've done for us. Volunteering. So I volunteered today. I felt great about it. So it gave me purpose to show up and be excited and have a good time and do something different in my day than I normally do. But that there's such a wide range. Like the lady I met today through volunteering at the school, she's going to Ukraine to help volunteer her time with refugees. That's a huge meaning for her. So happiness hacks. We'll start to wrap here. Say cheese. Meta-analysis is a grouping of lots of studies. So 138 studies is the meta-analysis. They analyze 138 studies and with 11,000 global participants finding that. So the result was they found that smiling makes people happier. We know this, right? We didn't have to see a meta-analysis, but this positively reinforces why when you smile, it's positive for you and others around you, because you can influence that sphere, as we've talked about. Facial expressions positively impact feelings. So if I purposely showed up on the video today with a higher, more energetic, smiley face, because we're talking about happiness. So I don't want to be like, hey, we're talking about happiness today. No, I wanted everything to be uplifting, more energetic. I'm talking fast, partially caffeinated, but again, I like this stuff and I talk about this all the time, so it rolls off the tip of my tongue. Hopefully you guys are feeling that as well. Smiling lifts mood, lowers stress, and boosts the immune system. We've talked about that, so we'll move on. The practice gratitude. People feel and express gratitude in many ways. So we're humans. We do a lot of things different, and it's okay to be different from one another. Just note that, again, visual, kinesthetic, auditory, and all these different types of ways that we can impact each other. So writing a thank you note, telling someone you appreciate them, keeping a gratitude journal, starting gratitude jar. Like if you at your work had a gratitude jar where you just left anonymous notes for people and everyone put one in every single day, that could really help, just the work. The only caveat to that is we'd want to have some balance. We want to be like, hey, Janet always gets the positive everything, and this person over here doesn't ever get a note ever. Then all of a sudden, the gratitude jar is lopsided and it's not as helpful as it was intended. So, but that could be a really positive thing for you guys to do. Or you start your meetings off with positive things about the team, the work you're doing, or something like that, so that when you start meetings, it starts on a positive note as you get into more of the nittier grittier stuff of why you are actually having the meeting in the first place. Meditating, so having a calm, coolness about yourself. We have these 5 senses: sound, smell, taste, touch, sight. These are ways that we can experience flavor from food or what is around us or what we listen to and feel and hug and touch and all these sensations. And if we can touch on those, some people are more dominant than others, and it's important to note and understand that, so that if your partner is more like sensory, like touch, or lacks sensory, doesn't want to be touched a lot, then you're not always trying to hug on them or something. And they're like, can you get out of my space, please? Like, the love messages you're sending, I'm not receiving. I don't want to be touched. So trying something new. I'm trying to wrap up here so we're on time. I didn't realize I was going to talk so much. Try something new. Become a beginner again. So experience. Let's get rid of strict goals and expectations. Remove pressure and embrace mistakes. So we need to experiment on things that we're doing, whether at work, at home, how you interact with people. Practice in a group setting to learn from and even teach others. So 2 people, or even on yourself, you could practice when you're alone so that you can and then improve. Like a practice of expressing gratitude to yourself can start there. Then it will start to branch out to others as you grow in that. Endure, switching up your approach when feeling stuck, as progress is always not linear. Same thing with weight loss. I always remind people, just because like you want the weight to go down doesn't necessarily mean it's just going to go down this line. It's going to go down, up, down, up, down, up. And ultimately, we want the trend over time to go down, or vice versa. We want it to go up. So you have to constantly push and switch and seek out different perspectives and ways to do things. Perseverance, never giving up, always adjusting, creating better solutions to focus on small improvements. Feeling happier, so these are easy things. Turn up the beats, get outdoors, eat nutritious foods so you get vitamins and minerals to literally feel better. Say something nice, written or auditory notes. Letting negative emotion and thoughts and energy go. Let's pull our Elsas out here and let it go. Making plans with yourself or with others to do fun, exciting things that you can look forward to. That state of living in anticipation I talked about. We have guided visualization. There's apps, there's YouTube videos for free. There's lots of ways that you can just listen in and practice mindfulness so that you can boost your self-esteem, your positiveness, your emotions, and feel good stressors. So we're wrapping up here. What did you notice during when you do the visualization experience? What is one practice you'll engage in to be more happy? So we'll go back here real quick. Is there one here that calls you out? I'd love to see it in the chat, and then we will wrap up. So we've got music or getting outdoors. Those are definitely 2 things. So I'd love to put the music on, get outdoors right after work. You'll literally feel better when you go home and have a significantly better evening than dragging all the nonsense. There it is. I think the movement idea after work is a great idea. I concur. So you'll literally have a better life in the evening. The people that you go home to will receive you better, and you won't always be a negative Nancy coming into the evening. Happiness, we don't want to say just negative Nancy, just, you know what I mean, just being a negative person. So I don't want to call it if there's a Nancy on here. So you know what I mean. So happiness is an ongoing experience that offers many health benefits. Certain practices and habits can increase feelings of happiness, including cultivating meaning and purpose in life. You have to have happiness and purpose to create meaning and fulfillment and gratitude in your life. We start small, like just even writing one positive thing about yourself that you think about yourself every day can improve your mood. Or purposely wearing a smile into work every day so that when you greet people for the first time, you're seeing them all day long, you've expressed positivity to them. All right, there we go. Thank you. Any questions? Would love to see them.